Okay, so let's dive in. When most people hear bird watching, you probably picture, I don't know, serious folks with huge binoculars.
Yeah, maybe deep in the woods somewhere. Very quiet, very academic.
Exactly. But what if bird watching was actually the surprising path, like a way into global travel, maybe better mental wellness, even activism?
Well, that's pretty much the core idea in the sources we looked at today. We're drawing from excerpts of The Joy of Birdwatching, a global guide.
And it's published by Lonely Planet, right, which is interesting in itself.
It really is. The fact that a travel guide publisher put this out tells you a lot.
Yeah.
It's explicitly not your standard technical field guide.
Right. So our mission here really is to kind of unpack the why. Why frame birding this way as this, holistic, almost global thing?
Yeah, how does the book see birds? Not just as species lists, but as storytellers,
Healer.
global connectors even.
So if you're listening, maybe curious about nature observation or even just travel, this should be interesting. We want to see how this guide makes that connection.
And what really jumps out straight away is how this material signals, a pretty big shift from the norm.
How so? Different from the usual bird guides.
Totally different. Traditional guides are heavy on taxonomy, IDing subspecies, very detailed.
Right. Lots of tiny illustrations, arrow pointing to wing bars.
Exactly. This guide, though, it flips the focus entirely onto the experience.
Ah, okay. So less technical manual, more what?
It's kind of a hybrid, actually. It reads partly like a travelogue, vivid descriptions, then partly like a nature journal, quite personal, and also a bit of an inspiration guide.
Inspiration for what?
For living more presently, maybe. It seems designed to appeal to, the casual traveler planning a trip and the really experienced birder who maybe wants a deeper emotional connection to their hobby.
So it's trying to bridge that gap.
Yeah, very intentionally. The sources suggest it's meant for reading at home, dreaming about trips, but also practical enough for actually planning them.
So it uses that experiential angle to spark curiosity about the place itself first, the ecology, the history.
Precisely. Identification comes second to that broader context.
And you can kind of see that in the design, too, from what the sources described. Lots of photos, maps.
Oh yeah, very visual. Richly illustrated, apparently uses these easy-to-scan, 2-page spreads for each location. Photos, maps, infographics, the whole package.
Did the sources explain why Lonely Planet went for that sort of armchair travel vibe instead of a dense little pocket guide?
They did. It seems that it's all about lowering the barrier to entry, making it less intimidating.
Ah.
By putting birding spots alongside, major tourist destinations, they kind of normalize it. It becomes something that enhances a trip rather than being the sole intense focus.
Right. The visuals make it feel accessible. Like you don't need to be an ornithologist.
Exactly. You just need to, show up and look. Pay attention.
Okay, let's talk about the global reach then, because that feels very Lonely Planet.
Definitely playing to their strengths there. The guide covers 60 birdwatching hotspots. And crucially, they're spread across every continent.
Wow. Okay. So it really frames birding as this truly international community.
Yeah, borderless. And importantly, it's not just super remote, inaccessible wilderness.
Oh. Where does it cover?
Well, the sources mentioned a huge range, like wetlands down in Australia, sure, cloud forests in Costa Rica, savannas in Kenya, the expected epic spots.
Oh, okay.
But also right down to city parks, urban parks in London, for example.
Ah, so it's making the point you can do this anywhere, your backyard or, the trip of a lifetime.
Exactly that mix. And for each place, it gives you the practical stuff. What birds to look for, best times to visit, local conservation groups.
Standard travel info. But you said earlier it adds something else, the cultural side.
Yes, and this is where it gets really interesting, I think. The inclusion of cultural connections. That's what lifts it beyond just a bird list.
How does that work in practice? Give me an example.
Okay, so for instance, when discussing birding in parts of East Africa, the guide might explain how seeing a certain migratory stork isn't just a tick on a list. Historically, its arrival is tied to, say, the local planting seasons. So the bird becomes like an economic signpost. Or maybe it holds spiritual significance in local traditions.
I see. So the bird tells a deeper story about the place and its people.
Exactly. It turns what could be a simple sighting into a little lesson in culture, history, even ecology. That's the global connection piece.
Okay, that's powerful. And this connects to another angle, right? Moving beyond just places into advocacy, inclusion.
Yes, the guide seems quite active in bringing in voices that position birdwatching as, a tool for change, social and environmental.
Who are we talking about?
Well, the sources highlighted a significant contribution from Dr. Maya Rose Craig. You might know her as Bird Girl.
Ah, yes, she's quite prominent.
Very. And her involvement is key because she brings this youthful activist perspective, really strong on diversity and inclusion in nature hobbies.
Which have traditionally been seen as, well, a bit exclusive sometimes.
Exactly. So she uses birding to challenge that.
Yeah.
To push back against elitism or lack of representation. She frames it as something young people can use for social justice awareness.
So the book isn't just saying look at birds, it's using birds to ask bigger questions like who gets to enjoy nature, who has a voice in conservation.
Precisely. And that perspective, plus a foreword by someone named Tanisha Hamilton, seems to give the whole guide this really personal cultural lens on the joy part of birdwatching.
Making birds into metaphors for climate equity, access, things like that.
That seems so. That theme apparently runs through some dedicated essays in the book, too.
What do they cover?
Things like the role birds play in indigenous cultures around the world, and also, very relevantly, how watching birds can be a gateway to understanding climate change.
How does it make that link? From a small bird to a huge global issue.
By connecting the local to the global, observing a decline in a familiar local species. The guide links that small observation directly to bigger issues like habitat loss or warming trends. It makes it tangible.
That makes sense. But is there a risk there of kind of trivializing serious climate issues by turning them into part of a hobby checklist?
That's a fair question. But the guide seems to counter that by focusing on actionable impact, local impact.
Meaning?
It's not passive about conservation. It actively highlights the importance of protecting habitats. It does this by sharing stories, real stories, of local conservation heroes, community projects that work.
Okay, so giving concrete examples.
Right, like maybe detailing a successful project to restore a specific wetland. It shows the reader how their visit, maybe even their tourist money, could actually support these efforts and make a difference.
So you feel like part of the solution, not just a visitor looking at things.
That seems to be the goal, and it goes further. It encourages readers to become citizen scientists.
How? Like logging sightings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Using platforms like eBird to record what you see. That data is genuinely useful for scientists tracking populations and migrations globally.
So your hobby contributes something bigger.
Yeah. And it also pushes readers to support bird-friendly policies. Think about urban green spaces, sustainable tourism practices. It's essentially offering a way to engage responsibly, an ego-conscious toolkit almost.
Okay, that's a lot on the outward-facing aspects, travel, culture, activism. Let's shift inward now. What about the personal benefits? The book talks about mindfulness, mental health.
Oh, absolutely. This seems to be maybe the most immediate, accessible benefit the book really champions.
How does birdwatching help with mindfulness?
Well, the core idea is focus. Think about it. The act of watching, waiting silently, trying to spot or identify a bird. It requires intense concentration.
Right, you have to be really present.
Exactly. It naturally pulls your brain out of its usual loops, worrying about the future, replaying the past. You're just there, focused on that sound, that movement.
It sounds a bit like accidental meditation, spontaneous mindfulness.
That's a good way to put it. That's the psychological payoff the sources point to. It reconnects you instantly to your immediate surroundings.
And the book talks about the joy part too.
Yes, and it differentiates it. There's the thrill, the rush of seeing something rare or unexpected, that burst of fleeting joy.
Like finding treasure.
Kind of. But more often, maybe more importantly, it's the steady, calming effect that comes from just dedicated, quiet observation, that consistent presence.
Which feels like a pretty good antidote to, well, modern life. Constant distraction.
Totally. And to make sure everyone can get this benefit, the guide is apparently very beginner-friendly.
So no need for expensive gear right away?
Seems not. It covers the ethics, how to watch without disturbing birds or habitats. But the advice on starting is low pressure. Suggest simple things like journaling what you see, maybe sketching, not demanding top-tier binoculars on day one.
That's important for accessibility.
Hugely important. And this connects to maybe the most critical takeaway for you, the listener. The book really emphasizes finding joy and fulfillment in everyday sightings.
So not just the rare exotic birds on a big trip.
No. It makes it clear you don't need to fly to a remote hotspot or tick off an endangered species to feel that connection, that presence.
You can get it looking out your window or walking in a local park.
Precisely. See a common robin, a pigeon, whatever's around you. By focusing on that, it removes the financial barriers, the travel barriers. It turns the mundane, the everyday, into a potential moment of discovery.
That really democratizes the whole experience.
That seems to be the core aim.
Mhm.
To get readers seeing birds not just as, biological entities, but as these vital connectors, healers even, transforming the simple act of looking into something, well, meaningful, wherever you happen to be.
Okay, so pulling this all together, what this guide suggests is that birdwatching is way more than just a niche hobby.
Yeah, it wears a lot of hats.
It's presented as like a framework for eco-conscious travel, a way into cultural understanding, climate awareness, and maybe most immediately a practice for mindfulness, for mental well-being.
It sounds like it's aimed squarely at anyone looking for a bit more purpose, a bit more presence,
Yeah.
whether they're traveling the world or just walking down their street.
A complete package, really, for the curious person wanting the why behind watching nature, not just the what.
Gives you a reason to slow down, look up, pay attention.
Absolutely. And, that leads us to a final thought for you to maybe mull over.
Oh, yeah?
If bird watching, according to this approach, can turn something as simple as seeing a regular neighborhood bird into a kind of adventure, into a moment of connection, then what other simple, everyday things in your own environment could offer that same potential? Maybe the way buildings change down your street, or the plants pushing up through the pavement, the hidden history in street names.
Interesting.
What if we just looked a bit closer? What could become your unexpected deep dive right where you are?